basis, which didn't really create a fair playing field for all clubs. So as we were getting to a point where we were running out of district designated funds available, we were pushing them off to the future, which wasn't fair to everyone. So as you're probably all aware, we created new global grant guidelines that created a uniform submission date of August 1st, this review session, and then ongoing progress reporting dates to ensure projects are completed in a timely manner. This is not only going to allow the grants team to hear the proposals today, but ask questions and decide how the DDF will be allocated. But it's also a great opportunity for everybody to hear what each other is doing and to create funding partnerships as need be as well. Yeah. Before we start today, I'd like to introduce a few people on this call. Starting, Kathy Hewitt, our district administrator, is behind the scenes helping make sure all the technology goes according to plan, and Kathy's waving. And then we have from the district grants team, we have several mentors on the call today, Craig Leiser, Paul Meekin, Judy O'Fallon, Peg Duno, Jim Hunt, who is also he's taken over for Craig as our district international service chair, so he can help with any issues that may arise in terms of communicating with clubs in other districts around the world. And Brad Kirscher and
Valdi.
Larry Probst, Jeff Harnley, and Valdi Stephenson. Then we also have a couple members of our district governor line. District Governor-elect Kenny Klooster is here, and District Governor nominee Dale Quigley, who has also served on as a mentor for many years. One other person to introduce that I left off purposely, and that would be our district grants team leader, Margie Horning from the Stillwater Sunrise Rotary Club, and she is going to make a couple comments now. Margie.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, all of you, for putting in the work required so far. And I know you've got a lot more work to do, but know that what you've planned will make a difference. And we are really pleased to have the opportunity to hear all of you in person today, see what you've got proposed for us, and also to help us make the decision of the funding, because as you know, those dollars come from each and every one of us that contribute to the Rotary Foundation. So without those contributions, we wouldn't even be having this meeting and being able to do such good in the world. So thank you, and let's proceed with hearing your stories, because nobody can tell it better than you.
Well said, Margie. Thanks. We're now going to start with the presentations, and I think I sent an email to everyone that will be presenting today, but just want to go back over a few things. We will be going in alphabetical order, and each club will have 5 minutes to summarize their project, highlighting what they're doing, who it will impact, and some of the financial details of the project. I'll be keeping time, and as I mentioned to each of you, that I'll include in the chat box when you have a 1 minute warning, and then you'll hear a brief alarm at the 5 minute time frame, so you should start finishing up, because that's when you should finish your thoughts up. If you get to 6 minutes, I'll step in to end the comments, just because we don't want to go on too long. If there's any questions that you have for a grant, please enter them in the chat box, and if we have questions and/or time at the end of a presentation, I'll moderate a short Q&A, and then at the end of the overall session, we'll have time, once we kind of say the official goodbye, if everybody wants to stick around, if you have any questions, then we can have some conversation then as well. Funding partnerships obviously help maximize the impact of these projects, so we've asked everybody to share at least how much you might be looking for if need be. And during each presentation, we will put the contact information for the main grant presenter in the chat box, and we'll send out a master list afterwards, so you can know who each other are. So if you need to reach out and contact anybody, we can do that. With that, I think we'll say away we go. And first up, we have Lee Schumann from the Cambridge Isanti Rotary Club, who will share about their project in Ukraine. And Kathy, or I think you will help Lee share his screen if need be. And Lee, go ahead and unmute yourself first, and then we should be good to go. Lee, try one more time to unmute yourself there.
Okay.
There we go.
And okay, I'm not too sure how to share the screen, but I'll do my best.
Great. Lee, let's just make sure you first have your presentation open on your computer.
I do, yes.
Okay, there is a green share button at the bottom of the Zoom screen.
Okay.
You can click, looks like we have your screen.
Okay, good enough. Sure. Just to give you a little bit of background, because I think
Right now though, Lee, we just have your desktop. We don't have the presentation.
Okay, I'm
So
so
you
sorry.
might just have to try again. If you go to the top of that screen, you'll see an option to stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
And now you could just start again with the green share button. And then when that opens, you want to look for the square that has your presentation in. And you got to click that first before you share.
Okay, am I good with that?
We got something. We just don't have,
I
it doesn't.
apologize.
There you go. You're all set.
Okay, are we good? Oh, good. Thank you very much. I'm high on the learning curve on this. But anyway, I've been involved in Ukraine for 23 years in a wide variety of capacities. I'm a pastor of a church. You can kind of see the library behind me. And a lot of that has to do initially with teaching, training pastors, things like that. But then it has started to move into a new direction. And that is that I've been able to move more into the areas of humanitarian aid and the like. And so this kind of gives a chronology of where I've been involved in for a number of years. It's been involved in sending of containers of food, clothing, firefighting equipment. Like I think our church right now is at container number 18 that we have sent over the years. Doing partnering with organizations such as Life Rice, Kids Against Hunger, and the like. More recently, been involved with an organization in the village of Kozybinskia, which is a suburb of Kiev. This was established in 2003 as a community center serving a suburb of 40,000 individuals. Some of the highlights in the last decade during the war of 2014 to 2017, they became a refugee center. At one time, they were housing over 200. I think they served over 350 individuals during that period of time, providing emergency shelter, some training, and then also helped all of them to find housing, permanent housing, which is there. They currently are involved in providing housing and support for single moms, widows, youth programs. They're involved in sexual trafficking and prevention, housing and support for elderly, as well as a drug and rehabilitation center, which is there. This is the picture of the building, which is completed. It is empty, it is unfinished. A big part of half the project is to provide furnishings for this facility, which will eventually house 40 men, and to provide a very intensive training and rehabilitation program for this underserved area. Alcoholism is a huge issue in the United States. Here's this random inside picture of the facility. The other part of it will take place in this facility, and that is a vocational training providing sewing skills and actually develop business skills for aged out orphans as well as single moms. This is a population which is at risk for falling into sexual trafficking. The cost of the project, as it has been determined for the Drug and Alcohol and Drug Center, $51,765. The sewing project, $44,000, just under $45,000. Then also there are supervision and project management costs, which are there. And that's how we anticipate it being the expenses there. The revenue sources from Rotary International, DDF 25,000. We are also looking to make an application with USAID, which is a Rotary affiliated or Rotary project as well. There is a program which they have called Hearts for Europe, and which it identifies Eastern Bloc countries, one of which is Ukraine. And we feel that we are able to make a qualification for that. Just to let you know that our local group is already highly committed to this. We've already raised $15,000 toward what is going to be needed by local Rotary clubs. So we're well on our way with that. And the question was posed to me by Jim Hunt was that what happens if U.S. aid does not materialize? Well, then of course our club will assume the responsibility of raising that remaining $25,000. A high degree of involvement has been shown to us on behalf of individuals in Ukraine. One of the lead individuals on the committee there is Sergei Zazinski. He is the current governor of Ukraine and Belarus. He in turn has a number of connections throughout Eastern Europe and Israel. And so there are now individuals both in Israel, Romania, France, and Georgia. These clubs have expressed interest in this project, understanding the need and wanting to be involved. How do I do with my time? Kyle, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I was trying to find my mouse button so I could use the mute, so I could undo the mute. You did perfect. You're at 4 minutes, 56 seconds. So way to go.
Hey, yeah, I just want to give a shout out to, I just want to give a shout out to Margie and Jim, who have helped me with this thing. They've been really good to help craft the project so that it meets the criteria. And so a very special thanks to those individuals.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. And I don't see any questions in the chat box or anything. So we appreciate your sharing that and figuring out the technology and everything. So now I would ask you to unshare your screen. I think you can do that. And next we'll have Prior Lake, their grant in Uganda. And here is Rick Olson from the Prior Lake Club to do that.
Okay.
Am I unshared?
Yes, thanks,
Okay.
Lee. All right, Rick.
Okay, thanks for this opportunity to make this presentation. Something I'm very keen on. Two areas of focus for Rotary is the basic education and literacy, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Prior Lake is the proposing club. Excuse me, now I got to go backwards. Something popped up in my screen all of a sudden. Sorry about that. So the Uganda host club is the Rotary Club of Mbarara, which is the closest town to Nakivale, about an hour drive away. The project would involve providing education supplies and furniture for Best Future School, secure and consistent electricity, and provide students materials. We bring the school up to sanitary standards by building 10 latrines, the water collection system, and hand washing stations for just under 19,000. Provide 10,000 gallons of water per day of purified drinking water for the residents of the settlement. So thousands of people would be affected by that piece. The funding sources would be Rotary Club's contributions of just over 39,000. We're requesting $25,000 of DDF funds, along with the World Fund match of $25,000 for a total of a little over $89,000. Now, see, got to get this out of the way. Okay, the Nakivale refugee settlement was established in 1958, so it's been there a long time and it's not likely to go anywhere very soon. 132 miles from Kampala, and its refugees come from the surrounding countries, most recently mostly from the Congo. The camp is run by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Now, Nakivale is fairly big, 71 square miles, which with 140,000 some refugees, so a lot of people. It's a city of its own. But many of the 60,000 refugees who arrived prior to 2014 have actually lived there for over 20 years, so it's a well-established place. Over half of the refugees are under the age of 18, so a lot of women and children. You'll notice Lake Nakivale, which we'll talk about later, is entirely within the settlement. The conditions for many refugees there are grim, to say the least, marked by inadequate resources, poor water, if you can get it, poor sanitation conditions, and a shortage of food. Most are heavily, if not totally, reliant upon the aid of the UN. I became aware of the Best Future School because of the Roseville Rotary Club sponsoring the Rotaract Club in Nakivale. You may have read about it in the Rotarian magazine. One of its members, Julius, founded Best Future School. The community members actually manufactured the bricks and built a 3-classroom building. When I was there, I saw it in February. By that time, they had attracted about 250 or 350 kids. Now it's about 500 kids, some for primary school, crammed into very, very small classrooms. Our needs assessment found 6 primary needs: water, food, sanitation, shelter, education for children, and job opportunities. And this global grant would deal with the ones that are highlighted in the red. The water is very short. For example, at the Best Future School in February, they were getting 3 5-gallon jerry cans per day for about 370 students. It's a little bit better now with some rooftop rainwater collection and more water being carried. But a more common scene would be a girl like this walking along alone, carrying water. Now that's bad for a couple different reasons. Many are they're abused, sexually abused or raped. And besides, they're missing school. So education opportunities for girls are scant. Food is not covered by this global grant, but just to show how grim it is, refugees who arrived before 2014 received 24 pounds of corn and 2 pounds of beans per person per month. Just try to live on that. Or if you're a more recent one, you get under $6 per person per month for everything you need. Now, it's a little bit better for some of the students right now because the Prior Lake Rotary Club funded a project to build a school kitchen in which we're providing 1 meal a day for them. We've also established a commercial bakery within the kitchen. The sanitation situation at Best Future School is gross. 2 latrines like this for over 500 students now. So this global grant would provide improving learning conditions in primary school, costing a little over $10,000, bring the school up to sanitation standards for a little under $19,000. But a really exciting part that I found out about is the H2 Open Doors water purification plants. They would pump water from Lake Nakivale, put them through the purification process and bottle them in these 5-gallon plastic bottles and then distribute them throughout the settlement and recollect the bottles and recycle. That part would cost about $60,000 for a total of a little over $89,000, of which we're hoping they would approve $25,000 of DDF funds for this project. With that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions that anybody has? I don't see any in the chat box, but anyone else? Perfect. Well, he'll be around after to have a conversation on that one as well. So
yeah, I'd like to thank a number of people on this because this has been a real learning process for me. I've been stumbling around a lot on this, and there's a few pieces we still need to refine a little bit in the paperwork, but we're in good shape to get that done. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. All right. Next up is the Rice Lake Rotary Club, which is partnering on a grant authored in District 6400 and will take place in Guatemala. And here to tell us about that is Sue Tyndall. Sue.
Hi, how are you? I'm getting my screen going.
Perfect.
Got it?
We're good. Yep, go ahead.
All right. Well, as many of you may be aware, the Guatemala Literacy Project, known as GLP, is a network of individual Rotarians, Rotary clubs, and districts, and the nonprofit organization cooperative for education working to end the cycle of poverty in Guatemala. So Guatemala is one of the poorest, least educated countries in the Western Hemisphere. And so we started this project in 2019 with a pledge to donate $8,000 for 5 years. We're on year 2 of that pledge. We have supported similar initiatives locally with dictionaries to 3rd graders, donations to Reach Out and Read, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and others. But we wanted to, again, make more of a literacy attempt in an international global level. On our next slide, oh, let's see if I have to do it. Oh, how come it's not progress? There we go. You can see it's a widely supported project. Over 600 clubs are involved, so it's really well known. And we believe that no one Rotarian can change the world, but our power comes from acting together. And it's quite interesting that right now, the Literature Project is needed more than ever. It's also kismet that this presentation is taking place in the month of September, which is the Rotary theme, happens to be basic education and literacy. So it's a perfect fit. The impacts of the COVID-19 have been devastating to low-income countries such as Guatemala, and it's so important that Rotary continues to fund projects like this that build long-term relationships. The Guatemala Literature Project, as you see, has a comprehensive approach to education, which is really appealing to our club. A student starts in K through 6th grade, and that's the Spark reading program. Then they move on to middle school, 7th and 9th grade, and they get textbooks and have a chance to learn technology through computers. Then that student can become a RISE scholar and will graduate high school with a scholarship and receive invaluable youth developmental training. So it's the 4 tiers of the project. They reach a wide range of students as well as training for the teachers, which allows the program to be self-sustainable, which is very important. Kind of just a little building block to show you how it works. If all the project did was show up in a community in a pickup truck with books and dump a load of textbooks and computers off, this wouldn't really be very appealing because you would just be dumping it there without sustainability. So for example, say a book costs $5. Year 1 student would use that book, pay $1. Year 2, another student would use that same book and pay another $1. Same thing again in 3, 4, and 5th year. After 5 years, how much money do we have? $5 and enough money to buy another book. So it keeps going on and on. After the initial investment from GLP, these programs are 100% self-sustaining. And just for information, the books cost about $1.50 a month. Computers are about $3. What's real important is that the students, after 3 years of middle school, they receive 100 lessons on using a computer. And at the end of these 3 years, 95% of the students find jobs with these new skills, or they continue on with additional education. And this is a picture of Ann Salima, one of the program's first rising scholars. She's on the left. She is pictured with her mother and her grandmother. There are 3 generations of Guatemalan women, and the mother and the grandmother, of course, are illiterate and desperately poor. But now Aunt Salma is taking classes in college, working at a call center, and making 4 times what her father would make. And so another aspect that we really liked was the ability for us to travel to Guatemala and get a hands-on look at the program. The project will offer several opportunities throughout the year to work with them either through observation or opportunities. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has forced the project to cancel those upcoming trips, but we are hopeful that either in the summer or fall of 2021, we'll be able to send some Rice Lake Rotarians to see the positive impacts firsthand that their donation is doing. So we are really fortunate that we are able to uphold our financial commitment to the project this year and appreciate you taking the time to consider additional funding through the global grant. We are committed to our work with rural literacy at the global level and look forward to this opportunity. And I'll open it up to questions if I can answer them.
Perfect timing. Anybody have a question for Sue et al. Hearing none, thanks, Sue.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And keep up the good work. All right, next up, we're gonna have Lauren Anderson will be joining us, and she'll share the Rotary Club of Rochester's project in Uganda. Lauren, you're up.
Right, just one moment while I screen share. All right. Well, hello everyone. My name is Lauren. I am presenting on behalf of the Rochester Rotary Club on our project Connected via Innovation, Bridged through Teleeducation. And this falls under the education and literacy focus for the global grant this year. So our international partners, CLUBHOUSE from Kigezi Healthcare Foundation, have been directly involved in collaboration and putting this project proposal together. So on behalf of Dr. Geoffrey Angayo, the medical director and chief executive officer of CLUBHOUSE, we have a clip prepared for you all so you can hear directly from the source and also from the community this project will be benefiting.
Hi, Lauren, we're not getting sound.
Oh, let me.
You might have to
make sure that my
re-share and then click the add.
Yep. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Oops.
Technology is only the beginning. Health workers now need confidence and literacy training more than ever. In Uganda, the ongoing training for health professionals is minimal due to limited access to materials and lack of training centers. By providing education and literacy through this program, health workers will be equipped while in the field, meeting patients and trying to calm the situation regarding COVID-19 in rural communities. Health workers will be equipped with the skills and confidence to keep up with COVID trends and other issues because of an increased access to the literacy training our organization can provide. Many people have asked us about this program and showed interest in our teleeducation meetings. There is excitement among people to do something right and help communities since most things are still under lockdown. We want to meet this community need and excited to do it with all of you.
Awesome. Oh. So the total projected cost of this project focused in health literacy training for health professionals is around $75,000. And today we're asking for a district match of $25,000 to support about a third of the budget for the total project. As Dr. G said, we're focused on skill building and specifically focused on education and literacy training for healthcare professionals. And this is phase 2 of a longer phase 3 project that will hopefully build into full-blown collaboration between many organizations within Uganda. And I would look forward to partnering with the club that presented earlier in their Ugandan project as well. I think there's great potential for elevation of all organizations and all areas that have initiatives like this. And this is also built into an evolution of trust, engagement, and collaboration. So the two bolded sections in the middle, interacting and dialogue, is where we're at right now, and how this will build into where we will be able to start doing soft and technical skill practice within this program related to health skills, but with a specific focus on literacy training. This will also give a lot of opportunity for further education, and also by using actual tangible examples and patient examples, it will engage a health population and not just literacy practice that's materials for out of the US. It'll be like culturally specific and also specific to the field that each health worker is engaged in. We estimate to be able to bring around 900 health workers in 6 cohorts of 150. So you'll see there would be 6 different cohorts on the left side of the screen, moving into a 12-month program with mentorship, skill building, and practice to bring out more confident and more literate population of healthcare workers that feel comfortable engaging in patient care and more confident in their patient interactions. We hope that this model could be scaled up. That's our long-term vision in phase 3 of the project. However, right now we're super excited to be moving into this phase where we will be focused on literacy training specifically for health professionals, so that the impact can be even more monumental for each professional to take it forward to their own practice and their own treating. And we are really excited that we've been involved in this project for a bit. We presented on the district grant that is going to help us in basic technological foundational pieces before we move into the larger project, and are very excited to be partnering with Rotary, building communities, connecting the world, opening opportunities, and serving humanity through this project for health workers in Nakivale, Uganda. And join Community-Based Solutions. Community involvement has elastic Dr. Joffrey Angayo, the founder and director of the organization CLUBHOUSE that we are partnering with to make this possible. So some very exciting development and some very exciting things happening with a huge potential for impact, bringing 900 health workers through a training program based out of education and literacy. Any questions?
Thanks, Lauren. Excuse me. Thank you, thank you. Any questions from anybody?
Kyle, if I just may add, it's Ashok. I
Sure.
just want to thank mentor Jim Hunt for really guiding us through the logistics and the details. Judy O'Fallon and the Thursday Club are really excited to get more clarification regarding the specific details of budget, and we are committed to seeing that through over the next month. I think the other comment is Dr. Anguo has been to Rochester, and we've hosted him for several years. So Lauren and Michaela really have gelled the platform and the foundation for sustainability, both in terms of relationship and this project, as it is quite aspirational and ambitious at phase 2 even. So
Perfect.
thank you, Lauren. You're a great servant leader.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ashok.
so much, Dr. Patel.
All right. With that, we are going to go to Maria Karam Ibarra from the Roseville Club to talk about a presentation from a project in the Dominican Republic. And I'm stumbling over my words because I am sharing the screen for Maria today. So I think I have that on the right screen. And Maria, go ahead.
Thank you, Kyle. I first would like to apologize. I had someone canceling on a work function today at the last minute, so I am having to do that, and that is why I appreciate Kyle and Margie setting this up. So as Kyle said, my name is Maria Karam, and I am part of the Roseville Rotary Club. I am originally from the Dominican Republic, and before I start, I'd like to say how much I appreciate all the Rotarians in this group who have connections with other countries in either Central America or Africa or whatever. My heart really is humbled by seeing your efforts. So the project that I would like to introduce to you guys today is a project for water and sanitation in the town of La Ceiba in the Dominican Republic. So the town basically hosts about 10,000 people. However, our project is going to be hopefully a mini model, or we would like to implement something in just one area of that town with the hopes that eventually the model can be imitated by other organizations and we can get funding to provide what better and clean water to the people in the whole community. Right now, our project is a total budget of $41,500. Today, we are asking $15,000 in district funds. And basically the rest would become from other clubs in the area as well as from the global grant. Basically, we did a needs assessment about a year ago, and we found out that the water was contaminated with E. coli and other bacteria that were causing a very high level of sickness to the children in the area, as well as to adults. And that is when the Punta Cana Rotary approached me with that need. So we decided to do a water testing, and that's when we found out that the water was really contaminated. Similar to the situation that we saw in Nakivale a little earlier in the presentation, people here are extremely poor, and now with COVID, the situation has worsened a little bit. They do have a river that's close by, and right now they have to carry the water to their homes containing all of this fecal and all of these bacteria. So what we're hoping to do is we are hoping to build a system that would basically hold, it's a water storage supply tank. It will be lined and it would hold about 5,000 gallons of water. And what we're hoping to do is to add chlorination to it in such a manner that by the time it gets to the people's homes, the water is clean and it can be consumed by domestic use or just to do the regular chores. There is a plan for sanitation and hygiene training. The Punta Cana Club in the Dominican Republic will be basically leading that. And this, we are hoping that we can provide sanitation and hygiene education to the people in the community, as well as in order to sustain the project and make sure that they can build it up. We are hoping to train them also on bookkeeping and acquiring funds from the people. And there is a contact in the community that will actually be going through, will obtain the help from the Punta Cana Rotary. And then she will be going to all the homes, basically asking people to contribute and to participate in this program. We have a few pieces to refine as far as the training is concerned, but we are hoping that we can obtain your help today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Maria. Anybody have any questions for Maria at all? Great. Okay. Thank you very much, Maria. We'll move on to the Stillwater Rotary Club. And today we have Scott Mercer from the Stillwater Rotary Club, and then Ted Hooley, who will introduce where he's from, or Scott will, to share about their project in the Central African Republic. Scott?
Great.
Go.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. As you said, Stillwater's excited to present a project that we're confident will positively impact maternal and child health and mortality in the Central African Republic. With me is Ted Hooley, the CEO of Sanitizo, our proposed project partner. Ted's been active in the CAR since about 2016, and he's not only attended club meetings at our host club, the Rotary Club of Bangui, but personally knows and regularly communicates with the club's current president. So let me turn it over to Ted.
All right, thank you, Scott, for the introduction, and thank you, everyone at Rotary, for having us here to present the project today. So I just want to start with a brief background on Sanitizo. Sanitizo is a US-based 501c3 nonprofit organization which provides medical care to those most in need in the Central African Republic. We've been working in CAR since early 2019 and remain committed to continue working in the country and also this specific project area long into the future. Since 2019, I've visited the project area every month, and the needs are enormous. The country as a whole suffers from some of the world's highest rates of maternal and child mortality. I've gotten to know the villagers in the area well, and everyone is really excited with the prospect of finally having access to quality health care. Every time I'm down at the clinic, pregnant women and their mothers come running up the road to me, shouting, saying, "Hey, you guys got to finish this clinic fast because I need to give birth. I need to give birth there." Because right now their only other option is to give birth in their mud huts, and they have no medical supervision, and that's why so many of these young mothers end up dying. The closest health facility in the area is a district hospital that's 20 miles away, and there's no transportation available for them to get there. So these communities have showed how much they want healthcare when they actually donated a clinic building for Sanitizo to operate last year. And you can see that in the top right photo. Sanitizo has gone on to do the necessary infrastructure work to get the clinic operational, including digging a well, building a water tower and latrines, and providing electricity. All that is missing now is the long-term medical equipment to get this clinic up and running. So this project funding will be used to procure the medical equipment needed to provide this essential life-saving healthcare for people in the surrounding 20 villages. This will include delivery beds, laboratory equipment, a medical waste incinerator, and a refrigerator for child vaccinations, among some other long-term durable equipment. The funding would also secure an ambulance that would allow us to set up this innovative referral system for women in labor, in which village chiefs would send word to us at the clinic when a woman goes into labor in their village, and then we would send the ambulance to go pick them up so they can give birth at the health center. This alone would save countless mothers' lives. And so that brings me to my next point. What does success look like for the project? Well, when this clinic is up and running with the equipment, one woman every day will give birth in the health center instead of in their mud huts at home. Hundreds of children will be diagnosed and treated for diseases from which many would die if they were left untreated. And this project right now is 100% ready to move ahead once funding is secured, and will have an immediate impact for the population of 20 villages in the area. It will provide a lifeline for over 25,000 people that have been cut off from modern medicine up until now. And finally, over the course of even just 1 year, hundreds of lives will be saved.
So thanks a lot, Ted. In closing, we're really confident that we have a strong role definition across our qualified teams and our engaged project partners. Most importantly, the Rotary Club of Bangui has expressed a strong desire to stretch from their current focus in this capital city of Bangui out to more rural areas like Bushia, the village where Ted's focused. So the strong buy-in from the Bushia community, coupled with a strong partnership between Sanitizo and an engaged boots-on-the-ground Rotary Club in nearby Bangui, creates a strong level of project control and a high probability of sustained impact for this global grant. And we hope you'll agree. I didn't really touch on financing in the presentation, but from clubs, we would anticipate $21,333. We'd anticipate district designated funds of another $21,333, and then matching funds from the Rotary Foundation to meet our $64,000 project budget. So thanks for the time.
Thanks, Scott. And I was really hoping that you would go over so I could cut you off, but you hit the time as well. So good job, everybody. All right. Thanks, Scott and Ted. Next up, we will hear from Fred Schreiber from the White Bear Lake Rotary Club about their project in Costa Rica. Fred, if you want to share your screen, and then we'll start the clock for you whenever you want to.
I'll do that if I can get this up. Everybody see that?
Perfect. Thank you.
Great.
Go for it.
Yeah, the project that White Bear Lake Rotary Club is working on is a global grant to establish something called a computer clubhouse at the Don Bosco Perez Zeledon Center in Costa Rica. The Perez Zeledon area of Costa Rica is about 2.5 hours south of the main airport in San Jose. If you go about another 2.5 hours south, you'll hit the Panama border. It's a community of about 100,000 people. The Don Bosco organization is quite a large organization of Salesian priests, and that's a organization that exists all over the world with a focus on youth, especially youth of special needs and youth of troubled youth and so forth. So they spend almost all their work on youth of that type. And this is what a computer clubhouse looks like. So it has computers, of course, and other equipment in the STEAM area: science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And you can see a clubhouse is a place where students can go after school. They can go on weekends, they can go on holidays, whenever the clubhouse is open. And we try to keep it open to satisfy when the youth are able to come. You can see a clubhouse has got things on the wall, projects on the wall that new students to the clubhouse can look at and get some ideas. You can see students in various places collaborating with one another. You can see adults in the room discussing things with students. So the whole idea is that students provide their own projects. So they work in robotics, they work in graphic design, they work in audio, video, all the STEAM type activities. The main organization that is involved with the Computer Clubhouse Network is an organization based in Boston area. And the whole idea of the Computer Clubhouse was established in 1993 by MIT and the Boston Computer Museum, as it was called then. Throughout the world right now, there are about 110 clubhouses in 19 different countries, reaching about 25,000 youth per year. The Global Computer Clubhouse Network has 7 clubhouses here in the Twin Cities, located in Brian Cole Community Center, which serves a lot of Somali students, Summit Academy, St. Paul YMCA, downtown St. Paul, Hope Community Center, Keystone Community Services, CLUBHOUSE, which serves the Hispanic youth, and the main Hennepin County Library in Minneapolis. And I've visited 3 or 4 of these already, and very good organizations. The thing that seems to work well with the Computer Clubhouse is to have an organization like a community center, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, something like that, where you can then already have the youth coming for other activities, and then you can plug in a STEM center. Best Buy is one of the leading benefactors of the Teen Tech Center in Canada, United States, and Mexico right now. This is what the area looks like at the Don Bosco Center in Perez Zeledon. And the area where the Computer Clubhouse would go is in this building, which right now consists of about 4 classrooms and a very large auditorium in the center. So we would use one of the classrooms. Basically, a computer clubhouse is a STEAM-based, safe place for kids to come, drop-in center for disadvantaged and at-risk youth and girls. Develop their own projects in robotics, and probably a lot of you know, if you work with kids, which most of us have, if you can get kids excited about something, they can do almost anything. So the whole idea is to provide a welcome center, a safe center, a place where they can get excited about doing their own projects and figure out how to do them themselves with a little bit of adult help. They learn tech concepts and lifelong skills to solve tough problems. Problems in any area. It doesn't have to be a STEM area. It can be any area. You develop the idea of how to do things and how to do projects and how to solve problems. Become excited about education and learning. Become confident. I can do a project. If you think about what makes a good employee, you can see the students that graduate from the computer clubhouse fit that very well. A good employee uses all available resources, helps others succeed, shares ideas with others. And I just love the little picture there. You can see some students around the small boy in the center that's pointing to the monitor. I happen to know him as Ignacio, and this was about 10 years ago, so he's graduated much further than that. He's an expert in video activities now. Good worker, it knows where to ask for help, deals with negative situation with positive, is a problem solver, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and always positive to do their best. And this can be any type of project, not only STEM activities, but anything. Basically, the youth impact of the computer clubhouse was about 90% of youth that graduate from the clubhouse try harder in school as a result of their clubhouse experience. 89% believe that they will use the skills learned, and 77% are interested in studying STEAM type activities in the future, and credit the clubhouse for this interest. The clubhouse network is sort of
here.
Got it.
In
Okay. The Clubhouse Network provides resources, and that's the main clubhouse in Boston provides that, and we'll partner with them on the new clubhouse in Perez Zeledon. In our community assessment meeting, you can see one of the classrooms here on the left, and that's where we'll put the new clubhouse. And what we found with that is a lack of educational opportunities for students in the area, lack of opportunities for recreation, social issues of all kinds, alcohol, drugs, and need good projects for jobs and prospects for further higher education. So we see a project of about $90,000, of which $25,000 would come from the DDF district funds. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right. Thanks, Fred. Anybody have any questions for Fred at all? Okay. Thank you, Fred. And last, but definitely not least, please welcome from the Winona Rotary Club, Carrie McGee and Heidi Smith, as we'll hear about their project in Ukraine. Carrie, I think you're going to kick us off here, right?
I've never hated alphabetization more.
Next year we'll switch it. We'll go from the beginning back.
Okay. Like the sobriety test, right?
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Carrie McGee, and I am with the Rotary Club of Winona. And we are excited to present to you our vocational training global grant proposal that would be the beneficiary for the European Down Syndrome Association. And I have Heidi Smith, who is not only a fellow Rotarian and board member of the Winona Rotary Club, but she is also our subject expert in what our grant is proposing. Heidi?
Thank you. Can I share my screen, Kyle?
You should be able to. You're as a co-host, so.
All right. Can y'all see it? Did I do it wrong?
No, we see you guys.
Oh, well, that's, all right, hold on. There we go.
There it is. Perfect.
All right, so first of all, I just want to share that the Winona Rotary Club it's been a very long time since we've done a global grant of any kind. So we have been on, I would say, a steep learning curve, but at the same time, we just have a lot of passion about what we are proposing to do. So about a year ago and a half, March and April of 2019, we actually had an amazing visit from a group. Oh, look at you, you're so cute. We had an amazing group of young people from the Ukraine who came and spent a week here in Winona learning about providing services for people with disabilities. And as many of you probably don't know, Winona is an amazing community that supports that population in a lot of creative and wonderful ways. And so we were a great location for them to come and learn. And from that, we gained some great relationships and time, and really decided that we had an opportunity to help design vocational services in the Ukraine. And so from those ongoing relationships and the assessment through our partners over in the multinational Rotary Club of the Ukraine, and our beneficiary organization that Carrie mentioned, we have put together a pretty amazing, I call it a pilot, but really a robust opportunity to build the ability for people with disabilities employment opportunity in the capital city of Kiev, with the hope that we will be able to expand that all through Ukraine. And if you are unfamiliar with the history of people with disabilities, people were institutionalized up until about the 70s here in America, and they are still very much institutionalized in orphanages in the Ukraine still. So they're about 40, 45, 50 years behind America, and that's why they were so hungry to learn about how we do things here. And it's obviously a passion, and I've been doing this for a very, very long time. Just felt like a great opportunity to go over there and help them build amazing capacity for vocational skills and education. And if you think about your own life and your own career and your own opportunities, you know, we all gain value from what we do for a living, and it adds to our quality of life and how we influence the world. And we are so excited to be able to take what we've done pretty well in America and take that to another place. So this is kind of what the idea is. We will be creating curriculum for the European Down Syndrome Association, and that curriculum will be designed for their employment specialist positions to work with people with disabilities to help build their skill set and abilities to work competitively in the community. That's something I have done for many years, and believe that that can be duplicated in any part of the world. The other piece of our work would be to build networking with local businesses. A lot of, obviously you can't just work in a vacuum. And so understanding how the world of business works in the community and helping them understand the value of hiring people with disabilities will be a big part of our gig. And then building capacity, train the trainer kind of education as well. So we can't be there all the time. And so helping them understand this curriculum we build and create and help them make those connections in the community and educate the people with disabilities. So ultimately, our goal is to create independence for people with disabilities. And That to me is it's just at the heart of what I do. So I can speak passionately without a lot of facts. The bottom line is anybody who lives over there who's a person with disabilities are marginalized significantly, and this project can help break down those barriers. And I'm going to give it to Carrie to talk the money.
Thank you, Heidi. So our budget is $76,000. We plan on donating or contributing our club along with several other clubs in our district and also the multinational Rotary Club of Kyiv, $26,000. We are hoping for a $26,000 or $25,000 matching grant from the district, and then TRF another $25,000. Once we know what we can have in funds, then we would be looking at the US aid program to see if we can get some matching funds from them so that we could offer salaries to the caseworkers and social workers in the Ukraine that we will be training with the curriculum. So thank you very much for your time and have a great day.
Thanks, Heidi, or thanks, Heidi and Carrie for that matter. Thank you, thank you. Any questions for Heidi and Carrie at all? Perfect. Well, I think you'll agree that we just heard 8 great examples of how these clubs are creating positive peace. You may have heard me talk about this before, but answering the question, what do we do as Rotarians, can often be difficult because we do so many different things. When trying to sum it up though, we've talked quite a bit over the last year that really it's about creating positive peace, which simply isn't the absence of war and conflict, but the fulfillment of all needs in a society so it can be a fair and just place. And when you think about all the different things Rotarians do in their communities and around the world, isn't creating positive peace really what it is? And the Rotary Foundation obviously helps us maximize that peace we aim to create. These projects are all creating positive peace in many different ways, and I'm proud that those efforts will be maximized since they are requesting grants from the Rotary Foundation. As you're probably aware, a portion of the funds we all contribute to the annual fund come back to use in providing matching grants. So in essence, these 8 projects are showcasing how our donations are being spent to make a positive impact in the lives of others. To all of you that have presented, thank you for your efforts in making a difference. For everyone who has contributed, you should be proud of how your donations are helping. Now, that's how we're spending the money we've donated. Obviously, the more funds we contribute, the more positive peace we can create in the lives of others. The needs are only increasing, so the needs for donations are increasing as well. So the more we raise and the more we give, the more we're able to spend on grants like these examples. So I'd ask you to think about 2 things today. First, please make sure you're making a contribution to the Rotary Foundation as you're creating positive peace with that donation. Second, think about how your clubs can partner with these clubs that have presented today. Many of them are looking for clubs to help fund their projects, so your contributions will help maximize that impact they will make as well. So thank you. Thank you to our grant sponsors and grants team members for your efforts in changing the lives of others. And thanks to everybody for your contributions to the foundation as you're creating positive peace with every dollar. And now, before we close the official part of things, I'd like to turn it back over to Margie for any housekeeping details that she wants to share. Boss lady?
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. And again, thank each and every one of you for what you have done today. And I don't know, I walk away from today and I think, boy, am I lucky to live here in Minnesota, where I've got good health care, good schools, good water, you know, and every other which thing. So thanks for doing what you do. But now to the nitty gritty, some housekeeping. The grants team, after everybody gets off, they will be deciding the amount of DDF, which is the district designated funds for each project. And you should hear from me probably early next week with that information. Now, once the DDF is awarded, your work doesn't stop, okay? You can begin entering the information that you already put on your template into the actual Global Grants portal, you know, right on the website. So a lot of that is copy and paste. You can, do it so it's not like you have to retype the whole darn thing. But as you're entering information, be certain if clubs are contributing to your project, make sure that they are entered individually, because every club we want in our district, if they're participating, we want them to get credit at RI as well as throughout the world. So be sure to identify each club. Now, I am also going to be including, when I send you the information, a copy again of the Global Grant Guidelines. And on those guidelines, it has a list of things that many of you have completed, a lot of them, but some of you have quite a bit of work to do yet. So make sure when you go through that you're ticking off things, that you've got all of the information together. The whole idea is that once you get going on submitting it, every little piece is there so that your grant, when you hit submit, it can be approved in record order. So, it's important to deal with all those little idiosyncrasies and tiny little dots and what have you that you need to finish. Another thing to be aware of, there is a deadline coming up on December 1st. Now, I know that seems like it's a ways away, but your first progress report will be due. And the application at that point should be fully entered into the grants portal, and it's in a draft status at least. If it's already into submitted and all that kind of stuff, kudos to you. But you'll get a grant ID number, and the commitments for funding, if you're trying to raise funds from other clubs, has to be at least at the 25% level. Now, all of that is on the document that I'll be sending to you when we give you the amount that you're getting. So again, thank you for your work. Work with your mentors to get all of that stuff completed, because we really look forward to all these grants to be in use, not just sitting around in paperwork waiting for approval. So Kyle, back to you, birthday boy.
Thanks, Margie. With that, we can close the official part of the meeting. If you presenters, you're welcome to